It has been more than 3 years, Madam President, since the Affordable Health Care Act, referred to by some or most in the press as Obamacare, was signed into law. At the time, I can recall, after months of markup in both the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions and Finance committees, I had many concerns. I remember I was very frustrated with my amendments being defeated on partisan votes. Most of them dealt with rationing. And I remember distinctly comparing this rush to government health care to a Western or Kansas analogy to riding hell for leather into a box canyon, eventually to find the only alternative would be to turn around and ride back out to a more realistic, market-oriented health care reform trail. As it turned out, we never even saw the bill before we voted on it. I voted no, and so did every other Republican senator and member of Congress. And I regret to say that my colleagues, or to my colleagues, that I told you so. Premiums are going up, taxes are going up, overall health care costs continue to rise, and burdensome, costly, and I might add, difficult to understand regulations are confusing and confounding health care providers. Many of these folks will not even know about a particular regulation until they are fined by outside contractors. The results have been terribly counterproductive to any economic recovery. Regulations like this have a way of dampening anything that we're trying to do. The current and growing problems are so large and complicated with this government takeover of health care that it has been difficult, if not impossible, for the administration just to get Obamacare off the ground. Now, I mentioned what happened 3 years ago at the beginning of my remarks. Let's now talk about what's coming down the pike in a matter of weeks. Just a matter of weeks. October 1st is the deadline when, according to the Affordable Health Care Act, according to the law, according to promise, millions of Americans who do not receive insurance through an employer will be forced to purchase health insurance in an exchange overseen by the states and the federal government, except for Georgia. Yesterday, Georgia was the first of exchanges to announce that they will not be ready by the October 1 deadline, and have asked for a delay. Now, I'm going to make a prediction. What Georgia did, others will do, including the federal government. In fact, as we all know, the administration, in a week-end blog no less, announced they would delay the employer mandate due to take place January 1, 2014, by a year to January of 2015. I might add that just happens to be after the midterm elections. This just means another delay. For businesses that complained about the red tape and costly burdens the mandate placed on their operations, many are already laying off employees or moving them to part-time status to avoid the costly mandate. And all of this follows the thousands of waivers granted to corporations and unions and other groups. And my question is again, where is the waiver for the average family in Kansas and around the nation? Where is the permanent delay for the taxes that will affect individuals? As we warned, things are starting to crumble and get worse, which is why we need to sunset the exchanges and individual mandates, literally a tax on families. Now, this evening, this afternoon probably, tomorrow, those of us privileged to serve in this Senate will leave Washington for the month of August. And we are going to get an earful regarding all of the problems associated with Obamacare and the impending deadline. Will the exchanges be ready? If they say they're ready, will they really be ready? Many Kansans who will be forced into a federal exchange or see another last-minute delay, a federal exchange, by the way, that doesn't exist as of my remarks, will ask how much their new plan will cost. They will say what it will cover. What will it cover? They will ask, will they be able to see their family doctor? Will their personal health information remain private and safe or end up in a 6-agency database? Some people have called it 7 agencies. Will they be losing the health insurance that they like? Will the high costs force their employer to make them a part-time employee, change their plan, or just drop their coverage altogether? Right now, Kansans and everyone else in the country cannot answer these questions, and neither can the administration. And when we get back, we will have only 4 weeks until the October 1 deadline. Now that means, really, if we're going to do something about this, we're only going to have 3 weeks in which something can be done to sunset, delay, defund, or repeal the law and replace it with real health care reform that works and to restore the all-important relationship between patients and doctors. Well, I do have an answer, Madam President. Some time ago, when the Obamacare storm clouds were first forming, I introduced legislation to sunset the exchanges and the individual mandate if they are not, as promised, up and running, ready to roll, ready to enroll by October 1, so that the exchanges can meet the requirements prescribed by law. Simply named the Exchange Sunset Act of 2013, it's S 1272. My bill aims to make sure that if the exchanges are not ready, they go away. And so does the mandate. Now, I realize as we travel down this road to the October 1 deadline at ever-increasing speed, there will be those who support continued advertising and encouraging thousands to sign up in the exchanges. The question is, sign up for what? The chances for the exchanges, state and federal, to be ready, and I mean ready, accessible to all that the advertising is trying to bring in, are remote at best. Obviously, there will be some kind of a delay. And once again, we will have the administration rewriting laws they had a direct hand in writing and were passed exclusively by the Democratic majority. I submit changing the law by the executive, the office of the president, without approval by the Congress is unconstitutional. 3 weeks. 3 weeks before the Obamacare train wreck. When this body comes back, I urge immediate consideration. Let's talk about it. Immediate consideration and hopefully passage of S 1272, the Exchange Sunset Act of 2013. It's a train wreck, folks, and we have to get America off the track. I yield back.
Madam President.